What is up, everybody? Welcome to happy hour at brunch hour. So, little early one here. I don't have any beer right now. I had one ready. I was like gonna go, but I needed the coffee before I could start drinking today. So I'll admittedly just stick to my Deadpool cup and the coffee for the morning. But we are ready here to go. Day 2 of the tourney. Day 1 was definitely worth the wait, man. It was exciting. There were crazy games all over the place, and we're gonna get into all of it. But first, I want to let you guys know that this podcast here, Happy Hour Hoops and Trainwreck Sports, is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below the waist grooming needs. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code TRAINWRECK at manscaped.com. All right, so let's go into last night a little bit here because Buddy Boeheim essentially just ruined my March bracket experience last night. I don't know how you felt, Meerkat. I'm sure you were a little bit happier watching Buddy just drop all those shots and turn into Steph Curry from Davidson all of a sudden, but it was kind of unreal to watch that unfold last night in that San Diego State Q's game.
Hate Q's basketball, hate his father, but Buddy Boeheim being an absolute electric factory is something I can kind of get behind. I mean, did he score their first 16 last night? I mean, it was absolutely unreal what he's doing. You get the coach's son, stigma and all of that stuff. So it's kind of cool to see him actually putting up in the biggest stage in the world right now for the school his family is so famous for because of his dad. It's kind of a cool thing, even as much as I hate Cuse, you got to appreciate it. And I mean, like you said, he looked like a Steph Curry Davidson last night. It was insane. And hey, I'm okay with it. I took Cuse teased. I took their spread a little bit. You and Stevie almost talked me against it. And I'm like, I don't know. They're just one of those sneaky teams. You always get the lower seeded team with the tournament success that has success. And we didn't get out of like Michigan State or anything. We saw them collapse. So throw it on to Cuse. You saw what happened.
Yeah, Maniac, how'd you feel watching the Buddy Boeheim experience last night?
Listen, as someone that went to Syracuse, someone that loves Syracuse, I know that March is when Boeheims do their best work, okay? I say no more. No matter how many times you practice against it, you cannot prepare for that 2-3 defense. And it was really the defense that fed into that offensive run in the first half that allowed them to get that separation they never looked back on. I know we have a lot of UB crossover. I bleed blue as much as I bleed orange now because of the coverage we've done with them and everything. But Cuse is on another run again in March, and a lot of people were saying they didn't belong in the tournament. But I'm glad Meerkat was able to turn a profit. That was just one of many crazy games down the stretch last night. It seemed like it started crazy, hit a little bit of a lull in the middle, and then ended crazy. From my perspective, boys.
Yeah, Rob, how was it? What was the game that stood out to you the most? Were you locked in on Buddy just going off, or was there anything else? Because that Purdue game last night too. I mean, we got to get into Purdue because, bro, like every year Purdue does this. Like they always get me excited. I bet on them to win the Big Ten. I was like, I'm feeling like Purdue's gonna. I like the value everything. Let me down there. And so in the tournament, I didn't really have them going far. I didn't have a lot of faith in this team, but I didn't have them just going out, flaming out like that. That overtime was pretty brutal, man. Like I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that in a tournament game.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the harder games for me to decide who I was rooting for because I had Purdue in like the brackets that I was doing very well in, but I'm just a big fan of North Texas because of Javion Hamlin and James Reese, former UB guys. It was very upsetting watching that game last night, watching Javion Hamlin put up, I believe it was 24, 12, and 5. It was very sad to see that, especially while UB was playing last night and our point guard was not there last night. So it was very upsetting to watch that game. But just for the aspect of the game, that was a crazy game. Javion Hamlin put that team on his back, and he was not losing that game no matter what happened.
Yeah, man, it was an impressive performance. And they're legit, bro. Like them playing against who are they up against there in that 4-5? Nova, like that how my feelings were about Nova last night in that Winthrop game. I mean, that we were we were both hoping that Winthrop would pull that out. But Nova, they at least look resilient enough to, you know, get by that game. But it doesn't look like if they took like a big punch in the face, like a big run, like North Texas showed that they could go on. I don't know if Nova could get back into that. So I'm interested to see what North Texas does the rest of the way.
I feel like they won that game last night on will, not so much skill, like their championship pedigree and everything. The other note, real quick, before we move on, Jake, because obviously look at these first day of upsets and everything. 3 OT games, the 2 highest seeds in the OT games lost. So the higher seeds were 1 and 2 in OT games. Typically, you see when they get to OT, the better team, you know, perseveres.
Yeah.
But a 4 and a 5 seed going home in OT yesterday, very surprising.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I forgot which game I was watching yesterday, but the announcers mentioned it. I believe it was the Colgate Arkansas game. It's complete different atmosphere than other tournaments, because in other tournaments, if the lower seed goes up big, the crowd gets really behind it, and that's something we didn't see yesterday. Besides the Purdue North Texas game, because Purdue is in Illinois, but or in Indiana, but besides that, we didn't really see much crowd interference, which is what most of the reasons why lower seeds win.
Yeah, but it felt tense, didn't it? Like it felt when those higher seeds were like struggling, like especially before Arkansas went on that run against Colgate, like you could feel like, because it wasn't loud, but it just was tense. Like those guys were, the shots, like just, you know, it just wasn't falling for them. And I wonder if that's like, if any time in this tournament, if these guys are just going to start feeling pressure just because it's just such a weird environment for them to be in. Like we know how long it took the NBA guys to get used to the bubble, and that at least they were there for like longer than just 3 weeks. And these guys, like I was saying during the first 4 games, it's got to be weird for these guys thinking they could either be here one night or being here for 3 weeks, and just not even know. Just imagine your life in general if you didn't know you were going to be somewhere for a day or 3 weeks. Like you would just, it's got to just be a strange experience for them. So I think we're going to get some weird results the rest of the tournament too. And today I think there's a lot of opportunities to get there too. So just wrap up, last night, West Virginia handled Morehead State. Houston handled Cleveland State pretty easily. Wisconsin, which our boy Stevie was locked onto, he said right here, Wisconsin and Rutgers, they saved him earlier from the wrath of Buddy. Rutgers, that was about how we expected when we were talking about that game yesterday, Rob and Meerkat. It was like a rock fight, but we knew that they were going to come at each other, and then Rutgers just made enough plays in the end to get ahead there. So let's go into today's slate of games. We'll start off with Meerkat. We'll go around the horn here. What is your favorite pick? What are you looking at? What are you feeling good about today going into the early set of games? Oh, is he muted?
Meerkat.
Sorry, my bad.
It's all right. We knew you had something good. You were lit up. You were ready to rock. Let's go. Lay it on us, baby.
One matchup I'm just like really excited to watch. I'm going to take them is Texas minus 8.5. I want to see Texas go off today because you look at them. Me and Jake were talking about the other day. We're both big NBA draft guys, and this is a team with Kai Jones and Greg Brown, 2 lottery picks playing at the big man positions for them. Not a huge matchup. A lot of people like Albion Christian. You got a North Texas team going up against. I think they're North Texas, maybe West Texas. I'm sorry, Albion Christian fans. But you got an in-state matchup here. You got a monster in Texas who kind of isn't getting the love I feel like they deserve heading into the tournament. Not that I think they make a crazy run or anything, but I'd love watching draft prospects in the tournament. Texas has 2 of the best of them going at it today.
Yeah, I love that, man. Texas might be like, I don't know why I'm not high on Texas. I don't know if it's just something I need to see from them, but on paper, like looking at them and from the games that I've seen them, like there's no reason to not think it's more like a mental block just seeing Texas failed in March so many times than just the actual talent on this team.
And they look great in that Big 12 tournament too. The Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, both close games, but they handled it. So
yeah, and that's one of the things too, Maniac, we saw coming from yesterday. Was the Big Ten looks like it might have not been as powerful as everybody thought with Ohio State and Purdue both going down in those games earlier. The Big 12 though always primed and they looked good yesterday and looked solid going all the way through. But so what are you thinking today from these early games? Any picks or anything like that you're looking forward to?
I love all the conference talk after a day or two. The start of this tournament is kind of like an Easter egg hunt whether you can find, 15 minutes of lockdown defense, or if you can open an egg and get a 30-point score on day one to get you through a matchup. Anything can happen, and that's honestly what makes it magical. I'm gonna play with Vegas here. I like betting the pass line and craps or whatever, so I'm gonna play with Vegas here. Dayton typically does their best work in March, similar to the Boeheims I mentioned earlier. Line opened at 4.5. I'm seeing it at 5.5 in some spots now, so I'm just going to take those points there. Even though Dayton has been inconsistent, I got family there. They said they've been inconsistent this year, but I'm going to ride with the Flyers on that one. And against potentially my better judgment, because I saw LSU do a great amount of work in the SEC tournament, I'll ride with the Bonnies because of the line movement. Again, +1 to +2.5. It sounds ridiculous, but down the stretch run, boys, we've seen those. A 1.5 point can make a difference. And when you see that legitimate movement, I just like getting that leverage with Vegas on my side. And again, it's not all those reports aren't consistent everywhere, but when you see line movement, from sources, gotta read it.
I'm all in on I'm on Bonnie's money line since the line came out, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admittedly that is my bet with my heart in this tournament for sure. But we'll see. I really like their chances if they can just keep the pace slow, man. Like if LSU brings it into a track meet, they're not going to be able to run with them the whole time. So it's going to be interesting because I think that game's going to be crazy. It's going to be a bunch of different momentum changes and swings through it. Rob, what are you looking forward to here this afternoon?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to a few. Definitely the 5-12 matchup and the 4-13 with Creighton and UC Santa Barbara and Ohio and Virginia. Creighton, they just came off that loss against Georgetown. They didn't look great in that game. UC Santa Barbara is playing some great basketball right now, so that's definitely some upset to watch. And then Virginia, Ohio. Virginia just came to the tournament yesterday. They haven't practiced. They haven't done anything. Ohio, with Jason Preston and potential NBA guy, it's definitely someone to watch out for. If they can play like how they played in the MAC tournament against Buffalo, I think they can beat a weakened weakened Virginia team.
We have Mike Bunt on our bullet points team, who is a big Ohio guy. And obviously we saw what Preston can do in the MAC, tournament. The thing is just everybody to me has been on this Ohio upset. I don't mean to, it's just everyone has been calling us this the other day. It just feels like it's coming from too far away, kind of Villanova-esque. Even if they struggle with Ohio, you got to think that they're going to be able to lock down defense, even with their depth players. I would say maybe they don't cover, but it's tough. I mean, Virginia opened at -10, and now due to all this madness, they're down to -7.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
This is definitely when Jason Preston has to come out and show it. So if he comes out and show it, he's most likely gone this year, and it just helps him if he shows it against the defending national champs.
My prediction is if Preston hits over 1.5 threes in the last minute, Ohio covers. If he doesn't, no cover.
I love it. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch see if he can shake loose like he's been able to against Virginia's defense, because like you said, we haven't seen these teams play against each other, so we have nothing to go off of with these smaller schools, and I haven't seen him get tested like this, honestly, the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Thanks for having me, boys. I think we got someone here who can fill my shoes.
Yes, sir. We have Al flying in off the top.
Let's go, boys. Good luck to everybody out there. Let's get that guap. Let's enjoy that basketball.
Let's go.
Thank you, Maniac. How we doing, Al? How's it looking here on this Saturday morning for you?
Very good. Just checked in at the Embassy Suites downtown Pittsburgh. Headed over to Rivers Casino right now. We're here in the 12:15 lock of the day from our gambling sharp is Georgetown, Colorado over. That's the first we're on at 12:15.
Oh,
even with the under trend so far, I'm so shook after that game yesterday.
That's exactly why. Stuff's gonna change today, the next day, right?
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. I love to see it. I'm locked in on that Georgetown game. I've got Georgetown +5 and the money line. I'm riding with Patrick Ewing here, bro. And I don't trust these Pac-12 teams in the beginning at all, really. The only team that I have a lot of faith in is USC. But for some reason, Colorado, they look like a team that's ripe for a March Madness upset, because they could just shit the bed today. I don't know.
They've crushed me before. I like them I'm going to tease them today. It's one of those games that I don't necessarily trust. One game, though, I absolutely cannot wait to watch. A pick I'm going to take is USC -6 today against Drake. And,
Yes.
Drake's been a fun team to watch. You saw their ridiculous run to start the season. They won their play-in game. They're here now, but I like USC. I like USC to make it, beat Kansas next round. I know people are down on Kansas. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people. I like what USC can do. And you look at a team like Drake, they're a high-scoring team, but they score over 80% of their points, via 2-point field goals. One of the best teams in the country at 2-point field goals, just inside the 3-point. And what does USC do? They're the second best team in the country at guarding the paint and against just 2-point field goal efficiency, all of that. They got Mobley in there, who I think is going to be the number 2 pick in the draft. That number 2 pick, number 2 just keeps popping up here, but I like USC. I think it's going to be a fun game. I do think they get the cover and are able to, stifle Drake's offense a bit, confuse them, force them to shoot, make them a little uncomfortable. But I love USC today. And like I said, I'm here to watch a lot of prospects. I'm a huge NBA draft guy, and it doesn't get much better than Mobley.
No, and he might be able to cook today.
Absolutely.
He might be able to cook. Al, anything else? Any other locks you're looking at for the morning? Anything else you got your eye on?
I see the Uber coming right now, so my final lean, and I'm probably gonna lock in later, but I'll message you guys and confirm. I think I'm gonna fade Alabama and roll. I'm gonna roll with the points. Hey, Alabama's gonna win, but I'm just saying I'm gonna roll with the points and take the underdog in that one.
Rick Pitino might. If anybody can do it, it's Rick Pitino. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Love the matchup. I'll take the points, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Peace out. Thank you for coming.
See ya.
All right, boys. Rob, what are you looking at here for the rest of the day here? Oh, what is going on?
Definitely looking to see. I mean, Gonzaga, they've been number 1 all year long. Definitely something to see. They haven't played anyone. I mean, obviously today they're playing another mid-major, but I'm not really looking forward to today. It's more as it goes on, see if Gonzaga can keep up the pace that they've been at all year. They haven't played any top major teams in months. So it's definitely something always to watch out for. But especially today, another one I'm looking at is definitely I'm trying to think. Why am I blanking right now?
Dude, there's so many teams. That's why earlier I asked you about the Winthrop game, because I was like, I'm like, the bracket's just all over the place.
Yeah, most of my picks were yesterday. Today is just like, just whatever happens. But another one I'm looking at, definitely I like the USC pick. Drake, they were undefeated for a while, but they definitely they didn't slow down, but they didn't keep up the pace. Winthrop really took over them in that. I think they're in the same conference. So it's definitely something to see. If Winthrop couldn't do it yesterday against a weakened Villanova team, I don't think Drake will be able to do it against USC. So that's something to look out for today. But that's basically it. Most of my picks were yesterday's games.
Yeah. I feel I really liked a bunch of the games on yesterday's card. It inevitably didn't work out very well for me. So we'll see. Maybe today's going to work out better. I'm looking, like I said, I got Georgetown that +5.5. I think they'll be able to at least keep it close if Colorado pulls it out. I got Bonaventure because I need to see it happen, bro. Like, some of my best tournament memories has been watching Bonaventure play in the tournament the last couple of years. I have family and, stuff that goes Bonaventure. So their team near and dear. And I feel good about their path. If they get by LSU, I would like their matchup with Michigan with Livers out too. Like, not saying that I think they would win, but they could at least keep that a game and make it interesting. Other than that, though, I think the only other thing I am on was earlier Maniac talking about Ohio. I'm on Ohio just because I think Jason Preston can get loose against Virginia, but it's gonna be a really fun game just to see Ohio kind of get tested like that, because I think all of us here watching enough UB and me watching them play Kent too. Like, I've seen enough of Preston at this point to know that he has the talent to do it against any big time team in the country. Like, it's there. It's just, is the execution going to be there against a Virginia team that sometimes they just smother you, man. Sometimes they just don't let up anything.
I mean, he did it against Illinois, and Illinois is one of the favorites to win the whole thing. So we'll see.
It's going to be fun. Gonzaga, I'm looking to see them smack up Norfolk. I might take that line no matter what it ends up at, and it's at 33 right now. So
33,
fucking crazy, but that maybe not take that actually. I really like UCLA late night too against BYU. I think that UCLA team, I think they needed to get by Michigan State, I think more of public money on Michigan State with Tom Izzo, and that's why that line was so close. But UCLA has been solid all year, and then they just kind of fucked up at the end of the year and just stumbled, lost 4 straight. But they were pretty solid as one of the top tier teams in the Pac-12 up until losing those games. So I think that they're going to give a test to BYU. And I just usually fade BYU and everything sports related anyways, just for whatever reason. But yeah, guys, I'm excited about the slate today. Any last words here? Anything else you want to go out on, your Meerkat?
Just one more pick I really love, and focusing on another game that you have a super high and big talent NBA prospect in. I'm taking UConn today. I'm taking their money line and some parlays because it's a little juicy, minus like 160. I'm taking that spread, up to 4, whatever it ends up being at. I'm going to keep hammering that, I think, in different ways. Maryland are maybe the biggest frauds in the tournament. Not just because they have the most losses in the field. They play in the Big Ten, whatever, but you saw them lose some terrible games this year, like that Northwestern game, a couple of the Penn State games here and there. They just weren't good. They're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. Just not great form. And you got James Bouknight playing for UConn. Just that he might be like the 3rd overall. He'll be like a top 10 guy for sure. I think he cracks top 5. Sorry, but they're just a really good, sound team right now. That things are kind of going in their direction. They're a little undervalued. Great against the spread all year this year, 5-2 in their last 7, especially against winning opponents. They've been covering at a high rate. I just think everything spells UConn today. A few other games I'm looking at too. I kind of like Creighton later. I'm going to do some deep dive into Oregon. I think that spread's a little low for them. I'm not sure if something's up, but like I said, I'm just really excited to watch a ton of prospects today. I mean, we're going to be seeing Mobley play today. We're going to see Jalen Suggs play today. We're going to be seeing, I mentioned the Texas guys, Kai Jones, James Bouknight. We're going to see Kispert. Just so much talent is going to be on these courts today.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
What's the guard at Bama? Is he healthy? I can't think of
who.
The point guard for Bama. I can't think of what's his name. He got hurt in the SEC tournament.
I want to say that he was playing. I thought that I had heard that, but
I can't think of what his name is.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it right now. But Kira Lewis was last year. I'm like, wait, what? How is that coming up? I'm like, he's in the NBA.
Ross, ESPN's terrible at this stuff.
It's awful. It's terrible. You have to use Google News to find out, or Twitter.
Shackelford or Quinterly, one of those dudes.
Josh Primo.
Primo. Okay, that's the third one right here. Gotcha. Yeah, dude, that's the hardest part about trying to get caught up on March Madness for me is there's so many dudes. I just gotta even just try to recognize last names because I try to keep up with at least most of the teams, but man, there's just so many kids out there.
There's so many schools.
There's so many schools. At least the schools, I feel like all these schools that are in this year, I've seen once in the tournament around before. So it's there's some trigger there, but yeah, it's a lot of fucking crazy schools. You ever notice how the crazy schools because I'm sure that UB has the similar schedule because Kent just plays all these scrub schools at the beginning of the year, not even D1 schools sometimes coming in. You're like, oh my God, where is that from?
Yeah, we'll play Stony Brook or something.
UB played. It was a D2 school, Nazareth or something, and there was a guy. His number was 24 or it was 8. It was one of those, and his name was Kobe. It was where did they find these people?
Yeah, only let him be a walk-on just to have that jersey on the team. They're whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember the first game of the year they were hyping it up, and it was season opener or whatever, and it was this D3 school from 20 minutes away, and they won 18-54 or something like that.
Yeah.
Some brutal scores. Why were we even here for today? That should have just been a scrimmage. You guys could have just wore pennies and shit.
Yeah, Bama paying Citadel $500K for the free fucking 70-point win every year in football.
It's unreal. Always schedule it on NCAA. You put FCS East. You're just I'm just gonna smack this first team up.
Yeah.
All right. All right, boys. Well, thank you both for hopping on here, previewing the games. I think we tip off here in 15 minutes with Georgetown and Colorado at 12:15. So that'll be fun. All right, everybody. Follow us here at Happy Hour Hoops 1. Follow Trainwreck Sports at Trainwreck Spurts there on Twitter. And stay hydrated and enjoy the games for the day.